Hello, everybody, and welcome to Blam Space. The sun is shining today. Um, it's a beautiful day. Welcome to the first episode of Blam Space podcast. Today we're going to be talking about the rise and fall of Star Wars Hunters. Um, yeah, please enjoy it, and like the video, more like it, um, get more people on the podcast, all of that. So, without much further ado. In the ever-evolving world of video games, few brands hold as much weight and promise as Star Wars. With a built-in global audience and decades of storytelling legacy, any game bearing the franchise's name carries immense expectation. That's what makes the rise and swift fall of Star Wars Hunters all the more surprising. Developed by Natural Motion and published by Zynga, Star Wars Hunters is intended to be a high-energy multiplayer arena shooter set in a galaxy far, far away. First announced in 2021, the title generated buzz for its cross-platform ambitions, aiming to bring Switch, mobile, and later PC players into a shared Star Wars arena combat experience. But despite the pedigree of the IP and the initial fanfare, the game's journey was marred by missed opportunities, poor design decisions, and ultimately commercial failure. In early 2025, Zynga announced that the game would be permanently shut down just a few months after global release. So, this analysis unpacks the key decisions and turning points that led to the downfall of Star Wars Hunters, offering a cautionary tale for developers, publishers, and fans alike. A delayed take, development hurdles. From the outset, Star Wars Hunters encountered turbulence. Originally slated for a 2022 release, the game suffered multiple and repeated delays, slipping to mid-2024. Behind closed doors, developers Natural Motion reportedly struggled with balancing the expectations of Lucasfilm, Zynga's monetizing goals, and technical limitations of mobile and Switch platforms. Soft launches in select Asian and European markets revealed the cracks early. Players complained of an unfinished product, bugs, long matchmaking times, alarming lack of content diversity. Despite several rounds of beta feedback, improvements came very slowly. Each delay seemed to dampen anticipation rather than build it. These setbacks contributed to an identity crisis of the game. Was it a live service title, competitive esport, or a casual mobile shooter? In trying to be everything, Hunters lost a clear vision, something critical in a crowded and clouded multiplayer space. Missing the mark, original characters or iconic heroes. One of the game's boldest and ultimately most polarizing decisions was its complete avoidance of Star Wars characters. Rather than play as Darth Vader, Boba Fett, Ahsoka Tano, we as players were introduced to an original cast of unknown characters like Slingshot, Houdini, and Sentinel. While the intention was to expand the lore, introduce fresh faces, the creative risk backfired. Star Wars fans didn't want to play as creative, vague, cartoonish gladiators when the universe offered some of pop culture's most beloved characters. The new cast lacked narrative depth and emotional resonance, making it difficult for players to connect. In the hero shooter genre, popularized by games like Overwatch, and Apex Legends, strong, recognizable personalities were key. Without them, Hunters felt generic, despite its fleshy coat of Star Wars paint. Gameplay limitations, mobile Switch dilemma. Designing a fast-paced multiplayer experience, both mobile and console, became the platform's monumental challenge. Fortunately, Hunters never fully overcame it. Combat was often described as floaty and imprecise. Touchscreen controls on mobile devices felt chunky, while Switch players felt themselves disadvantaged by frame rate drops and input lag. Matches lacked the tight responsive feel that defined their top-tier competitive shooters. Additionally, the game struggled with map variety, balancing issues, and poor matchmaking. A limited number of game modes and repetitive objectives makes the game feel stale within days of a release, while other shooters like Call of Duty, PUBG Mobile, had raised the bar, Hunters felt like a step backwards, especially compared to the console competitors. Trust broken, aggressive monetization tactic. Perhaps one of the most damaging blows to Hunter's reputation was Zynga's signature monetization strategy. From day one, saturated with microtransactions, battle passes, loot boxes, premium skins, currency bundles, and early unlocks of characters. This might have been tolerable if the gameplay was satisfying and the content felt rich, but it just wasn't. Players quickly accused the game of being pay to win and overpowered characters being gated behind premium paywalls. The perception Zynga had prioritized profit over polish significantly harmed player trust. See, forums and social media were flooded with complaints, several prominent streamers calling it and influencers calling the game predatory and unfinished. In an era where players demand fair monetization, meaningful progression, Hunters missed the mark entirely. Lackluster launch and critical reception. After years, oh, lost it. Sorry. After years of hype and delayed release, Star Wars Hunters launched globally in June 2024 and was met with a lukewarm reception at best. Critics cited shallow gameplay, poor character design, lack of meaningful content. See, the game earned 40 out of 100 on OpenCritic and 60% on aggregate review sites, with several reviewers noting it felt like more than a beta than a finished product. Player retention metrics plummeted in weeks following the launch. Match queues became longer, content updates slowed, and the once promising esports angle vanished without a trace. What was intended to be a long-term line service game instead became a ghost town within a couple of months. Marketing misfires and missed connection. Despite being attached to the Star Wars name, Hunters never managed to capture the franchise's spirit or its audience. The marketing campaign was vague and inconsistent, failing to build a meaningful hype and explain what made the game unique. Promotion material leaned heavily on the generic Star Wars aesthetic without showing gameplay, depth, or character dynamics. For casual players, it wasn't clear whether Hunters was an offering what other games weren't. For hardcore Star Wars fans, there simply wasn't enough nostalgia, lore, or integration to spark excitement. In a market where brand loyalty is powerful but fickle, Hunters never designed a hook strong enough to keep the players invested. End of the line. Shutdown announcement. In early 2025, just months after Zynga announced Star Wars Hunters would be shutting down permanently, planned expansions, including a delayed PC release, seasonal content updates, quietly cancelled. The announcement was led with a mix of disappointment and inevitability. For many, the shutdown felt less than a surprise than more like a mercy ending. Despite the team's efforts, the game had never truly taken flight. The servers are scheduled to go dark in later 2025, marking a quiet end to what was once seen as a bold new entry in the Star Wars gaming universe. The downfall of Hunters is a most sobering reminder even the most iconic IPs cannot guarantee success. From development missteps, to design flaws and marketing blunders, and monetization greed, the game fell into nearly every single trap that modern live services must avoid. What Star Wars Hunters lacked was not polish, but vision. It failed to offer meaningful Star Wars experiences, it alienated its core audience, and it struggled to stand out in a more saturated genre. For developers and publishers, the game's short life cycle as a development process is a valuable case study in the importance of understanding your audience, respecting your source material, and delivering a complete and compelling product at launch. In the galaxy of gaming, even the brightest stars can burn out quickly, if not handled with care. So, it's just a short one today. Thank you for listening. Make sure to tune in. I don't know if I probably won't be posting consistently with this, but posting when I can. Yeah, hopefully I'll be getting people on in the future, getting a few more creators, friends, so as always, subscribe, like, and join the Bland Space Discord linked in my profile, and maybe you will have a chance to be on my podcast. Thank you, and goodbye.